Okay, and broadcasting. Hello to the Juice Guru Rewind, and we're going out into the community on Facebook. And we're going to see if we get some people backstage with us right now before we open up from the Juice Guru Rewind. We'll be able to ask some questions here. We're coming to you live. And for another exciting event, another behind the scenes, and we've got Shannon Gilmartin coming to us. Are you in Ontario, Shannon?
I'm actually in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I work a lot in Toronto, but no, I live in Virginia Beach.
Oh, you're in Virginia. Okay, so you're 3 hours ahead of us here in California.
Yes. Yep. It is 7 p.m. here on a cold December evening.
Yeah. You guys getting much snow?
We don't have much yet, but it is all around me.
Well, good. Well, it's a little chilly here in Redondo Beach. As we get to this time of year, we've got the fires out here, but we're avoiding them here right now. They haven't closed in on Redondo Beach, but some other areas of the state have definitely been affected. And our prayers to those people out there.
Absolutely.
And praying that it doesn't come close to us. So we're going to get ready to broadcast onto iHeartRadio. We're going to do the audio part of this, and I think everything's coming through okay. I don't see anyone backstage yet. They might trickle their way in, but I'm going to assume everything's coming out good. Let me just check one thing on Facebook and make sure that everything's sounding good, Shannon. I think it is, though.
Okay.
And I'll have to put on my DJ voice and all that other stuff in just a minute.
Totally fine. Better you than me.
Okay, let me just have a button to hit here. Okay, let me get that out into Facebook. Okay. And the Juice Guru community, we're opening up to them, and we're going live into Facebook. Hello to our community in Facebook. And then again, if you're in there and you're going to tune in, we've got a great interview coming up here. You've seen the description. We've got Shannon Gilmartin. She's the author of the new book, The Guide to Modern. Facebook. And then again, it's working. You're going to tune in. We've got a great interview coming up here. The Guide to Modern Cupping Therapy, your step-by-step source for vacuum therapy. We're going to find out what cupping is, how it can benefit all of us, and more. Shannon, how are you doing over there? This isn't the official interview, but how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. 'Tis the season to be a little busy and crazy, but very good, thank you.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us, and we're so excited. Your book is brought to us by our friends at Robert Rose, who also did the Juice Guru book, and we love the team at Robert Rose. Thank you, Martine, for coordinating this interview.
Absolutely. Thank you, the whole team. They're a wonderful company to work with.
Oh, Bob, too. I love them all.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Judith, of course. Okay, well, we're in Facebook, so that's a good thing. And if you're in Facebook and you want to type in hello, just type it in the box below. And if you have any questions, then you can type it in too. We have lots of new members in the Juice Guru Rewind. We opened the doors, so thank you for being part of the community. And you do get to come behind the scenes, so check your email if you want to join us behind the scenes. You can come on video, you can ask questions just having your voice piped in, or you can type it in the chat box or below the video here. So thank you for being here. And we're going to get started. Shannon, you all set?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, here we go. And this edition of Juice Guru Radio is brought to you by Try Best, making healthy living easy, and the Juice Guru Rewind at juicegururewind.com. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve. Today we've got Shannon Gilmartin, author of the new Robert Rose publication, The Guide to Modern Cupping Therapy, a step-by-step source for vacuum therapy. We're going to hear all about how this can benefit us, what modern cupping therapy even is, and more. So stay tuned. Have a juice, some tea, some water. We'll be back right after this with Shannon Gilmartin. Hello and welcome back to Juice Guru Radio. I'm your host, Steve. We've got Shannon Gilmartin here. Again, I said she's the author of the new release, The Guide to Modern Cupping Therapy, your step-by-step source for vacuum therapy. It's available at Amazon and bookstores worldwide. She's a licensed and nationally certified massage therapist, certified vacuum therapy practitioner, and educator. She's here with us, and we're going to hear more about this. Let's welcome to the show right now, Shannon Gilmartin.
Thank you for having me, Steve. It's great to be with you all.
Thank you for being here, Shannon, and congratulations on the release of your new book that came out on Halloween.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's I love the project, very proud of it. It was a huge undertaking, but it's a story I've been telling for many years, and I'm happy to put it all in one package.
Well, let's explain that, because how did you first discover cupping therapy? For those of us new to it, how did this come onto your radar and how did you start using it?
Okay. So I've been a massage therapist almost 20 years. I love helping people, and I found a class on cups randomly in Las Vegas, and who doesn't want to go to Las Vegas and learn some fun things? When I did take the course, I had some pretty incredible reactions within my own body. And to note, when I was younger, I had a pretty bad car accident and I had a very large scar on my face. And leaving that class, I was able to go home and really take my scar tissue down to where it's almost barely noticeable, and the function and the comfort in not only my face, but other issues that I had over the years. It just really fascinated me. And so I gave feedback to the company. I was thereafter recruited to be a teacher. And I have been teaching it now internationally for about 12, almost 13 years. And I teach it in so many different areas, from day spas to hospitals to third world clinics. Anyone who can do body work, has a license to touch, I welcome to class, and I love teaching this because it's a truly remarkable therapy and incredibly dynamic.
Well, what are the implications? What is this good for? We're talking about modern cupping therapy, and some of us might not be aware of what this even is.
Sure. Yeah. So it's always been a very elusive, mysterious therapy that no one could really put to term what it did. So cups are literally suction cups that are put on the human body. And when they're applied, they pull the tissue, and that lifting, that suction pulls blood to surface tissues, allows circulation to be increased on a big scale, like if someone has dehydrated muscles, or a microcirculation to make your skin look healthier. It also helps to move fluids like lymphatic fluids, like stagnation of that, which could be like cellulite or people with edema. And it helps to ultimately clear out body tissues. Think about it as a vacuum for your body. And depending on how you alter its applications, it's limitless what you can do with cups. And I strive to teach its safe applications. That's why I love teaching it so much.
Well, you've got one there. Let's hold it up so people can just see what, some of these cups look like. They're easy to find. She's just holding up basically if you're not seeing the video and you're listening on iHeartRadio, it just looks like a basic cup that you might find in a pharmacy or something.
Yeah, you squeeze them to create the vacuum. When you squeeze these silicone ones, it removes the air. So when it's applied to the skin, the suction's created. So I have like a little one here. You can see it on my arm. It's just stuck in place. And they almost look like those little, the toys when you were kids, you could flip them and put them on the ground and they would pop in the air. These are very basic general ones you can find on Amazon, on the internet, and pharmacies. And then we have other squeeze ball ones to squeeze the air out and create the vacuum. They have high-grade medical devices down to the primitive fire cups that everybody knows and are a little leery of, as you should be. Fire is a little crazy, but that's a more primitive, and it's all just a form of applying a cup to the body. There's lots of different cups out there.
Well, I think back to, all those years ago in high school, and when I was getting a hickey, I didn't realize it was therapeutic.
And see, that's a fun joke. We would like to think that is true. But, on the flip side of that, think of it this way. I like to convey this. If you hurt your finger, what do you immediately do? You suck on your thumb, on your finger, to create that circulation and make it feel better. It's a natural, instinctive response to pain. So people appreciate that analogy.
What is the history? How did this come about? Because, you read those old books and they talk about leeches and things like that in primitive society. Is that where this all started?
So there's no point in human existence to say where it started, but there is documentation throughout civilization. In the book, I put a picture of a hieroglyph from the Temple of Imhotep. He was the god of medicine back in ancient Egypt, and they would use cups then. They were more ceramic cups. They didn't have glass. There's documentation throughout the world. I like to say Egypt because that is what people are most known for, like the birthplace of civilization, if you will. But throughout ancient Egypt, some of the old ancient Egypt, ancient China, the most dated medical textbooks you can find out there do have documentation of cups in some form or another, which is just brilliant. They even have, I put a picture in the book about horns being used in Africa to suck out material from human bodies. Just the method of suction is a way to remove toxic material from the body. And that, it evolved over time, obviously.
So who would benefit the most from this? Like you said, it's good for scars. Is it good for stretch marks? Is it good for, I was trying to think of some other things. Like what are some of the ailments or things that you're seeing improvement with when we start implementing cupping therapy?
Okay, so there's so much it can do. It kind of starts asking the question, what can't cups do? So you can do things like superficial applications to clear cellulite, which is a form of stagnation. You can increase circulation for people who have bad circulation in limbs for one form or another. But pain management, a lot of muscle restriction we use cups for. Even indigestion, we have applications over the abdominal cavity that help to mimic the peristalsis-like contractions of the colon. And that is a really powerful yet gentle form of using cups. So it's really just, if you can put your hands on somebody, or if you want someone to manipulate your tissue, a cup can be added into it safely and effectively and yield some wonderful results.
What is the feeling when we're getting this process? Is it soothing like a massage, or what can we expect?
It should be, the only thing it should not be is painful. Cups can feel warming. They can feel stimulating. I should say this though, if nothing more than all of these awesome things I've just mentioned, cups are very relaxing. One of the greatest applications I'll do during a massage for some of my clients who are just stressed is if you line cups along the spine, all the central nervous system enters the body via the spine and all those muscles. That decompression has a feedback into the central nervous system and it calms down the body. So cups can feel, it's almost an indescribable sensation depending on who you ask. Some people are wondering if it's my hands or it's a cup, they feel the lift, they feel the warming, the pliability, the softness it creates. But again, the only thing it should never do is hurt. And if it's hurting, it's being done wrong.
So, and is it something that we can do on ourselves? Like, is there a home treatment that we can do if we want to start getting into this?
You can, yeah. So the great thing about the book, and it was interesting when I was asked to write the book, it had two general areas of an audience. One was obviously the body workers that want to use cups safely, and they were, maybe getting a little overzealous, and it's great to have them have the science and the information. But for self-care, it's really wonderful because it's a tool that you can use to work on your own body. Like how many times people want to, rub their own necks because they're sore, or you just put your hands on your stomach because you're, not feeling very good in that department. I wrote the book for the people who don't necessarily know body work to learn about it and apply it to themselves or their loved ones, their friends, their family safely. There is a lot to know about overdoing it. There's a lot to know, again, that it shouldn't be painful, and direction on the limbs and certain body parts is important. That's all in the book. And I've taught a few of my clients and a couple of patients in different areas over the years to work on themselves. And it can seem intimidating at first, but just like anything else new, that's kind of what it is. It's something new. You just got to practice and you get really good with it. And I find people take great care of themselves alone with cups. It's absolutely easy.
We've got Shannon Gilmartin here. She's the author of The Guide to Modern Cupping Therapy, your step-by-step source for vacuum therapy. Came out in October, available on Amazon and bookstores worldwide. Also up at her website at shannongcmt.com. We'll have that link to you under the show notes at Juice Guru Radio. And if you're part of the Rewind, we'll have that link for you below. So just check that out. Shannon, I was looking through the book and noticing that also there's some black and blue and some marks that are left when we do this. Can we talk about that and what that is?
Absolutely. So there is a huge difference between a cupping mark, a true cupping mark, and a bruise. And unfortunately, a lot of people bruise each other with cups. And, it's bittersweet because when I see this happening, I've seen it in clinical settings, which is rather scary. Because they're doing it wrong. But, it's good to know people aren't getting too hurt, but I have seen some pretty dangerous applications out there where people are left, with a bad experience with cups. So a cupping mark, a true cupping mark, it can be all different colors. Generally, they're red, pink. I've seen gray, green, yellow, all kinds of weird colors because the body can store all of this material in its connective tissue, holds pockets of debris of some form or another. And the cup is, again, a vacuum, so it pulls that stuff out to the surface lymphatic system to remove the garbage. But people do bruise each other because they do it too strong or they leave a cup on one spot for too long, and that causes tissue damage, which is a bruise, a contusion. Again, I like to remind people in my classes or anyone that ever asks me, if it hurts, it's not good. It shouldn't hurt. It's therapeutically beneficial and should feel that way.
So what led to writing the book? So you've been practicing it. You're seeing great results. What was the decision to get this out to more people?
So there's always been this shroud of mystery around cups. And when I did take a class, my first class, it was just like, we got a little bit of information anatomically, but there was no scientific explanation. And I am definitely a science person. I need books. I like tangible evidence. I'm very analytical. And so I knew there was a lot that people were missing. And ever since I started teaching it, I knew there was a better and more detailed way to convey the information. So I took it and explained it on a scientific level that I found from all these great different research bodies around the world. And I broke it down layer by layer of the human body. I started from the skin with the integumentary system, and I worked my way in even to the bone. So everything in the body to some degree can have a benefit. So I loved writing the book to explain for the person who isn't a body worker, the basics of every body system, but more importantly, how a cup can affect every body system. And from the people I've spoken to thus far, they love that because I have so many clients who've been asking me questions over the years, or strangers that know what I do. And I can talk about it day in and day out for hours on end. But for them to go home and understand it or tell somebody else, they were missing that component. So the book answers the questions. It tells you everything about the body systems. It tells you how cups do what they do. It tells you the difference of a cupping mark. It even tells you how you can work on scar tissue or cellulite or sciatica or neck pain. I gave everything I've come into contact with over the years as much as I could. I always say to come take a live class, and at Modern Cupping Therapy, we have our own education company now to do just that. And, if no one's going to come to a class, at least the book has everything I could possibly imagine to give safe information and let people have a great time with cups, regardless of your profession or your intention.
So would you recommend, if somebody wanted to get the book and try this for themselves at home, would you recommend going to practitioner first, or would you say the book will guide us to do it even on ourselves?
It's a great idea to always receive it from a professional body worker, so you know what proper cup work feels like. That's my suggestion. And there are some really great body workers out there. But if that's not something available to you, or if you're just not comfortable going to an office, but you're curious of cups, I think the book really conveys the information safely and effectively. There's a lot of self-care options in there. And I've had people giggle because I'm the self-care model, but I do work on myself all the time. I'm a walking testimonial of it. You know, it helps me not only with the scars, but I mean, I'm an athlete, so I can take them with me to events, and I work on myself immediately thereafter when my body's cooled down and I feel better. You know, I get a lot of athletes in my practice, and they love it, but they go to a race halfway across the country. They don't have time to find a therapist. So they bought a book from me. They took a set of silicone cups in their suitcase, and they're like, Shannon, thank you. Because my legs were so sore after that race, and I was able to open the book and address my own leg discomforts, and I love it. So I'm happy with that.
Well, great. Another implication for it. So it helps with that post-workout burn or something, and helps to clear out some of those free radicals and things.
It does, yeah. So like as far as athletic performance is concerned, you know, muscular waste is not only heat, which can contribute to inflammation, but also that lactic acid byproduct. It's a natural metabolic material within our own bodies, but that waste proton substance left behind is how people feel that burn. And so cups can help wring the muscles out of that waste. And then, like, for example, if it's in your legs, you're feeling like your quads and your thighs are sore. If you work the cup over those muscles and then move it up the length of the thigh towards the waist, like your hip area, that helps flush the garbage out. And it's like creating breathing room in the tissues, and hyper pliability and hydration returns. It's very, very beneficial for athletes. They love the cups. And also think about it, it's negative pressure. So when someone's really tight, it kind of hurts to push on them. And it takes effect by lifting, just making contact with the skin rather than pressing on people. They'd really appreciate that.
If we're looking for a practitioner, is there any certification we should look for to know that this person was really trained properly in the method?
Yeah. So, you know, there's so many schools around the world that are now teaching this. You know, I myself, we own the one company, moderncuppingtherapy.com. That's our education company. So we certify tons of people. I mean, I've taught probably a couple thousand over my career. It's most important when you're interested in finding someone to use cups that you do ask them some questions. Have you had training? You know, and a lot of people are kind of shy about it. They don't want to hurt the feelings of the therapist. I feel like, you know, it's an investment in your own wellness and your own safety. There are a couple clinics I've unfortunately come across that are doing some pretty major harm, and I've called the board of health on them, and they've corrected, you know, they saw the error of their ways. So, you know, it's kind of like anything else in the world. You can find a bad massage and not know. You can eat a bad food and not know where you're going. You got to kind of have faith in your own methods of deduction, and you'll find a great practitioner. But just go out there and look for someone and ask them, hey, have you had training in cups? I'd love to experience them with you.
Well, we have over 100 certified juice therapists that have gone through our program that lead people in juice cleanses and things like that. Is this something that someone can use as part of adjunct to other things they're doing? Or do you need a background in massage therapy or things like that? Or do you think this is a standalone kind of thing? I know it's a couple of questions wrapped in one.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it's very versatile. So predominantly I do teach body workers because it is a tool, and they see how it's brought in to enhance and be a complement to what they're doing. But, you know, I've taught, for example, so talking about detoxification. I had one of my students who, she and her partner run a halfway house for people with addiction. And she's not a massage therapist, but she has a license to do some body work. And she understood the anatomy and the efficacy of cups. So they just help to, like chapter 9 in the book talks about lymph drainage and what the lymphatic system is. She does that as part of their wellness protocol, and she's having such great results. You know, estheticians do it for skincare. Acupuncturists do traditional Chinese method versions of cups, which is a little different. They have a different intention. I wrote this book more for people who are not medically trained. But, you know, I teach a lot of acupuncturists, and they really love the diversity that I bring to their practice already existing with cups. I had one last month in Toronto, and she was a master practitioner of acupuncture and a master cupping therapist. And she left that class just blown away by how much she took home with it. But I've also taught people who know nothing about the body, I teach kind of private classes in that capacity. And next year we're going to open it up for the general public to come in and have a class so they can learn how to do this beyond reading the book and beyond just buying cups online and trying to figure it out on their own. Or, there's occasional YouTubes that are really good, but I've also seen some kind of scary YouTubes out there. So, see what resonates with you, try it, and just make sure it doesn't hurt.
Awesome. And so your plans here coming into the new year, are you going to continue along this path of teaching about cupping, or what are your plans for the future?
Oh yeah. So it's pretty wild. So, the last couple of years have seen, it's grown more and more, probably the last 5, 6, 7 years. And then after Michael Phelps in the Olympics, it definitely blew it out of the water. Every pun intended. I'm sorry, I have to say that. But it's, the inquiries have come from every area you can imagine. And so next year, my partner and I, we do have a lot of classes scheduled. We are constantly getting invitations and requests to come teach classes. And we do that. So if people want to have a class and they're interested, please do contact us, because we are happy to help and do that. Or you can come visit us. I teach in Canada, but I teach in Italy. I teach all over the country, US, and we have international education available. I have translators. I'm probably going to Mexico and the Philippines. I'll go anywhere people will want to learn this, because it's a wonderful therapy and everyone really goes home loving what they do after this. A whole different appreciation for cups. I love that.
Very exciting. Again, the book is The Guide to Modern Cupping Therapy. We're here with Shannon Gilmartin, and I gave your website, so it's shannongcmt.com. We'll have a link under the notes at Juice Guru Radio and at the Juice Guru Rewind under the video. Is there any, and you had mentioned that other website for the certification?
Right. So the shannongcmt.com is my personal business website. And yeah, you're welcome. I'd love to have people come check it out. And, but our business website is moderncuppingtherapy.com, just like the title of the book. We try to keep it simple for people. And, we'll have our education schedule up shortly. We had a little bit of reconfiguration to do, but, I start again. I'll be in Toronto in February, and then in Italy, I think in January, and a bunch more coming. We're at conferences, conventions. Come see us. Come visit us. It'd be wonderful to have people out. We travel everywhere. We love what we do.
Awesome. And before we close out here, anything that you wanted to share that you mentioned in the book that we didn't get to, or anything else? I mean, I love that it's an ancient alternative teaching that's just coming into modern view now, and everyone's seeing the applications. But anything else that you wanted to share, or any final words of advice for us?
Yeah. So, I speak with such passion about this because it truly has changed my life. And people have come to me or my classes and expected all these amazing miracles. I like to tell people this, that, body work is something so diverse and so incredibly exciting, but don't think that you need to get rid of something. Like, let's say you have neck and shoulder pain and you've had it for 10 years. Don't think you need to get rid of it overnight. Have comfort and be confident, and take it easy that it's cumulative. All body work, whether you're trying to go on a diet and lose 10 pounds, whether you're trying to get rid of pain, just know that doing things, learning something like this is meant to be practiced, and it's meant to take time to master. Nothing can be mastered in a day, a month, a year. I still learn something new every single day, every single class. Just go home, have fun with this, and ultimately be safe. And that's my greatest thing I can say about this. It's a wonderful tool, but just be safe and take it easy with it. Have fun and just enjoy.
Well, we should also mention that you've done some work in third world countries on people with different ailments and things. You want to just mention a little about that experience, and then we'll close it out?
Sure. So part of my passion in life is giving back, and I've had the great opportunity. I have gone to India, and I work with an orphanage system, Homes of Hope Orphanage, and some of the girls in that system have come from some pretty horrific backgrounds. And when I went over there to give a therapy camp, I used the cups, and they were so kind of confused because not only were we not speaking English, but, you know, these weird suction cups, but I would, you know, talk to them and I'd use them soothing and it would help calm them down. So that's a real fun thing for me. And the kids love it because then I would give them the little one and they would giggle and squeeze it. But so, you know, kids like cups too. But when I had, again, another company I work with is called Global Health Works Foundation. And I work with them in Guatemala predominantly. And it's an alternative health clinic with acupuncture and massage therapy. And I started teaching cups to the indigenous people there. And they smile because, you know, their ancestors or Mayan medicine people have used cups for years. But I show up with these vacuum devices, and we've done everything from help release scar tissue to kind of, you know, a little bit more gruesome things like parasitic or worm extractions and scar tissue. And one poor gentleman had a broken clavicle 20 years ago of pain. And there's a picture in the book of him. 20 years of pain locked into his clavicle. And all I did was gently put cups on it, help him breathe. And I did a little bit of massage, and the release he had, the relief was just magical. And we don't need to have a full conversation language. A smile and healing touch goes a long way. So I love that about this, because it doesn't have to have words. You need to have comfort and a smile. And that's my job.
Well, Shannon, thank you so much for being on Juice Guru Radio and sharing. We're really excited to get this out to more people. And I'm excited to get it done myself. So thank you for being here.
Steve, thank you so much for having me. Love what you do. And I really appreciate the opportunity.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you. And we'll see you next time with the next book launch. Let us know.
Yes.
And I'm Steve Prusak, and we'll see you next time. Thank you again. Namaste. And I'm excited to dive into this.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what you think about it. Thank you so much.
I'll be in touch. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.